super happy about this particular one. It's the second interview for season 2. Rounded up our season 1 a few weeks ago. The first one for season 2 last week. I had so much fun with Dr. Darius. Today, I promise you guys nothing but best. Now, for you guys who are listening or tuning in for the first time, Wiley the Board Series is YFM's innovative radio programming content to develop the youth and, of course, provide inspiration to all our listeners. Now, stats reveal that Ghana's population is young, with about 61% being 30 years and below. Now, the International Labour Organization's ILO Youth and Future Work of Service shows that about 1/3 of the youth in emerging and developing countries view their their future work and life with fear and uncertainty. Why? Because there's not much to learn from. We read a lot, we hear a lot, but who tells us what to practically do in order to sail through all these things? Now, this is why YFM, Ghana's #1 youth and urban station with year-on-year dominance in youth radio programming, deems it a responsibility to add to the bouquet of creative and informative content on our station by hosting leaders and achievers in various sectors and industries in Ghana and beyond to bring hope, meaning development and leadership coaching tips to our vibrant listeners. Follow us on radio and on our digital platforms as well. So this is basically what inspired Wiley the Board Series. So far, we've interviewed a lot of people. We've spoken to doctors, we've spoken to ace comedians, we've spoken to musicians, we've spoken to people who were musicians in the beginning, we've spoken to business advocates, we've spoken to tech geniuses, we've spoken to proprietors of schools. A lot of things has gone down. Today, we're coming through with something special. Now, today on the Leaderboard Series, we are blessed to spend time with one of the most recognized personalities in the business community. She's built a solid reputation over the years in rendering consultancy services on marketing, communication as an advisor on business investment related issues. Now, she also served as a market entry strategist for foreign businesses seeking to extend their operations to Africa. Over the past decade, she has effectively developed and transformed Ghana's most successful business media house into a formidable entity, extending its product and service range to serve both local and international markets. She also runs the Pan-African Business Monthly, Business Time, and Energy Today magazines. Our guest on the Wiley the Board Series today is none other than Dr. Mrs. Edith Dankwa, CEO, Business and Financial Times. Welcome to YFM, Madam.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
I think it's just right to, we're going to keep the title Doctor throughout.
Sure.
And with time, in the course of the interview, I'll keep reminding my listeners that she's a doc in a special field. Usually when we say doc around here, people think you are a doc. Yes, medical doctor.
No.
Welcome to YFM. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
It's
pleasure to be here.
Big privilege to have you on here. For the fact, I think my boss told you earlier, when we posted the picture, people were asking how we're able to do it. Because Madam Edith does not grant interviews. She won't do it. But today we're pleased to have you here.
Thank you.
And we are super honored to have you with us to share your life story. The basic motive behind Leaderboard Series is to bring people who have achieved a lot in their various fields to come through and share their life experiences. Many a times what we hear has to do with the various achievements, the awards that people have had and all that. People don't really know how you guys left where you started from to where you are now. And so that is the basic point today. I believe that by the end of this conversation, a lot of people listening will be inspired by your story. We're in for all that. But before we get into any of that, my team put together something special for you. I wish I had the third hand behind me. Guys, kindly do me the honors. So we decided to start off with gifts. Let me just switch this to Akane. So we'll call him if you're in concert. So we came with gifts. We came with beautiful gifts, and this is a special portrait for you from Memories on the Wall.
Surprise.
Yes, pleasant surprise for you. Presented by my boss, Miss Emma Wenani. That's a beautiful picture of you, by the way. And it has a YFM logo on it. Guys, if you're watching us on Facebook, that beautiful portrait was made by Memories on the Wall and is presented to Madame Dr. Mrs. Edith Dankwa by Miss Emma Wenani. One of my favorite bosses. She's wearing the same color as me today, so we're on the same side. Thank you so much for coming through. And so this, from today, should be a portrait you look at every day and remember the number of young people you inspired today on the show. So we're giving this ahead of time. A lot is going to be done today. We're going to touch lives. What is going to happen here today is a miracle. one that people can hold on to, and of course get their lives transformed.
I'm so touched. Thank you very much.
You love it, right? I hope that's one of your favorite pictures, by the way.
It is.
It is, right? We're in the right spot with that.
Thank you.
Wow. So let's hand over that to, or maybe let's just keep it by you. You're gonna, yes, let's just keep it by you. Guys, don't forget you can be a part of the conversation via WhatsApp 0202222073, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Y Leaderboard Series, and officially, we mean business. We're in for that. Doctor, please tell us a little bit about your beginning. The genesis of Dr. Edith Dankwa. Where did you grow up? Which year were you born? How was growing up like for you?
Okay. So I'm the first daughter of Mr. S.A. Akwe and Mrs. Charlotte Akwe of blessed memory. We're 3 siblings, myself and 2 boys.
Okay.
I grew up at Osu. We lived at Osu, close to the Oxford Street.
Oh, the main
close
street.
To Nyaniba.
The London of Osu.
I come from a humble family. My very close-knit family. My grandparents also lived just about 15 minutes from where we grew up. I was so close to my family, nuclear family, as well as extended, but very close to my parents and grandparents as well. Growing up was very exciting because there were no fun things, as you know, as compared to what we have today. So for us, the fun things that we had was looking forward to the weekend, visiting our grandparents at Ringway Estates, just opposite the police headquarters. And he was the first Ghanaian director of prisons from, I think, 1952 to 1962. And so we had prominent, I wasn't born at the time, though, but I mean, he retired, and we had prominent statesmen visiting all the time. So you would look forward to going there to see him, or to see both of them, grandparents and my other family, to meet some of these prominent men like Akwaje. Akwaje was Dr. Akwaje of Blessed Mary was also a very good friend to him.
So you saw him?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were very close. I mean, we were in the middle of Ringway and Akwaje, so it was just a close-knit family. So we just, they come in there, we have the Amuwas coming, we have the, so for us, it was exciting to go there, and especially myself and my 2 brothers. We formed a trio, and we used to sing for our grandfather. He was very highly religious. So my little brother will be conducting. He's Dr. Akwe, Edmond Akwe, and then my other brother, Dr. Godwin Akwe. So the small one will be conducting, and then we'll all be singing.
He was a choir master.
He was a choir master. And then he would treat us, after singing and all the entertaining him, treat us to sweets. He had special candies, which was always brought from him, bought from, relations abroad. So you look forward to having those sweets. So you have to sing and sing well, so you can. And then occasionally also our parents on weekends taking us to the beach, stuff like to pray, especially to pray, and then we the kids.
Pray at the beach?
Yes.
How?
Because I come from, like I told you, a highly religious family. So for us, or for me, it was church and family.
Would those 2 be some of the values you grew up on, things that you picked growing up?
Yes, you can't take that out. I mean, we're told, one of the values that we have is God first. Whatever you do, God should come first. And then also respect, humility, being modest, at the same time hardworking, being confident as well. So these were the values that we picked up when we were growing. And I think they have held me, they've shaped me to where I am today.
In Osu, where you grew up, were you known as Edith?
No, I was known as Nanama. Yes, because my mommy is a Fanti and my daddy is Ga. So
good combination.
Yes, so the Fantis will call me Nanama. And the Gas will call me Na.
All right. So how was your transition from a teenager to your university days at UCC like for you, and what are the key life lessons that you learned during that period?
I learned a lot. After sixth form, I think it was National Service of sixth form or so, yeah. So I had to resit economics paper. And so after sixth form, I did my national service, and I also took time to write my paper for to enter the university, because I wanted to do administration or BA management, which was BA secretaryship at the time. And for me, it was mixed feelings, because I had the opportunity to get close to my mother, who passed just before I went to university.
Wow.
I got very close. I had the opportunity to serve her. She also had the opportunity to teach me. So I learned directly from her. You know, when you're a girl and you're going to school, you hardly learn how to cook, because you're always on the move, you're doing your studies and all that. So during that period, I had that opportunity to learn how to cook and then to get very close to her. Unfortunately, she passed a few days before I entered the university. And so I learned a lot from her. And during that period also, you know, my daddy is an educationist, and he used to be the principal at Government Secretarial School. And so after work, he had students coming home to learn shorthand and typing. So when I'm bored and he's teaching them after school, I'll position myself, you know, making sure that he wouldn't know, that he wouldn't see me. And I'll listen to him teach them.
Free classes.
Yeah, free classes. And then I'll take the pen and pencil and I'll be doing my own thing. So 6 months down, I said to him, look, I want to take the exam. And he said, what do you know about typing? I said, I know about it. I can do it. I said, okay, so join my class. Let's see. And he was shocked to his marrow that I could write, you know, shorthand, and I could also type. So he allowed me to take the exam, and I passed.
Wow.
So it was a bragging right for him, you know, when he's teaching his students. Say, look, I didn't teach my daughter shorthand, so you have no excuse to learn, not to fail, you know. So, you know, you have to. And I started helping the students, so teaching. From what I had learned, I was teaching or helping him, you know, teach his.
And how old were you at this point?
I was around 18, 19.
And the ones you were teaching, were they your mates?
They're older.
You're older.
Definitely older than myself. Yes.
I get it now.
Yes. So these are the things that I thought. And during that period too, you know, I was home. I'm a good cook. I'm a very good cook.
5 stars for that.
So I had friends, you know, requesting during their parties or so, can you prepare fish balls for us?
Wow.
Can you prepare yam balls for us? You know, not too complicated dishes, but I could do that for them as well. Ones. Yes. So I'm sure that's where my cooking skills started.
I want to pick on 2 things. You mentioned that you filled a paper.
Yes.
And sorry to touch on this again, you losing your mom. These 2 periods in every person's life would be a big blow. How were you able to pick up the pieces and keep moving? Yeah,
for me it was a very big blow, because I was good at school, I was a good student, and so I couldn't believe that I would have a D in economics. So for me, I had to prove to myself that I'm capable and that all wasn't lost. And as I sit here, when I look back, I give thanks to God, because if I hadn't spent that time at home, I wouldn't have that opportunity to be close to my mother. So it meant so much to me, and it held me along the line to say that, look, I mean, you don't take things for granted, but you always work towards it. You have to be determined. So that determination, I'm sure, led me through, and I'm still guided by that, you know, determining spirit, that whatever you want, you have to ensure, you have to put in hard work and ensure that you achieve what you want.
And so it's not like at that point you were not faced with giving up. Obviously, maybe you had your downsides. You were discouraged. You were pushed to give up at that point, but you did not, because you were determined.
Yes, I did not give up. And for me, I can't even explain the feeling because I just couldn't think that I could fail. You see, I just couldn't think that there was, and I'm sure that's what even caused a failure because you think you know. You think you know and you take things for granted. So it guided me. So you're always on guard, you always have to be careful, you want to make sure that you're doing things right, and you have to be determined. The determination for me is very important because we still need it as we grow. Wherever you are, whichever stage you find yourself, you need that determining spirit to lead you on.
Great. Insightful. I really love that. I mean, I feel energized with all these. I also, had a few moments in there. I mean, you mentioned economics, and after uni, I had to do a reset. I think this is the first time I'm actually talking about this on radio. And I could not understand when the failure came. When the results came and I had failed, obviously, I mean, nobody takes failure lightly. But mine was, I didn't understand because this was me teaching friends to do that paper and it comes and I'm failed. I'm on the DE list. And then I sit back to tell myself, maybe God doesn't even want me to continue with this. Or maybe he wants me to get a better shot at this. So I did it again and it came out perfect. So I definitely understand this. I can relate to it directly. Through all these periods, I mean, I'm sure you had somebody you looked up to, apart from your mom, which you obviously mentioned, your cook, your international cook. Who else inspired you? Did you look up to anybody else apart from, the family members?
Yeah, my auntie, Mrs. Dinah Osekufor, she used to work at the Ghana Commercial Bank as one of their managers. And then also Auntie Yale, Miss Akwaji, they were all bankers. So I really looked up to them, the way they were, at the time determined, they were hardworking, you see them going and coming and, in a professional manner, the way. So I fell in love with them. I wanted to be like them. I wanted to be like a banker. I mean, I wanted to be a banker. So whatever, for me, I had to do to study to get there, I was prepared to do that. So I looked up to them as role models.
And today, when you look at yourself, are you far from where you saw them? Honestly speaking,
I think I am amazed where I find myself. I didn't think I wanted to achieve a lot, but I didn't think it would come so quickly or so early in my life. So I'm grateful to God and I'm grateful to all of them. Family helped me. They were all there for me when I was growing, through my marriage, they've always been there for me. They've always been there for me. And I'm so fortunate. I mean, I'm not saying that it's all been rosy, but they have been there for me in times of not only my two aunties. We have a lot of them. I have my 94-year-old uncle. I mean, he's still strong. He walks. I mean, he goes to church. He does everything, and he's been there for me when my daddy travels. He's the one who takes us to school. So.
Family obviously means a lot to you.
Family means a lot to me because, I mean, wherever you find yourself, whichever level you find yourself, you still need family to support you. When my mother passed, family was there for me. When I was working, when I married, they were there for me, and they're still there for me. So I'm able to juggle between work and, my house, my domestic responsibilities. They've been there for me. So I couldn't have asked for more. And I also try as much as possible to give those values or to give back, especially to my children, because my mother was working at the fisheries department at the time, but she resigned, and she became a housewife.
She resigned for the family?
Yes, for the family. She sacrificed for the family. And I believe strongly that that is also part of the reason why we are where we are today. Because she ensured that we did our homeworks, the values that, is God-fearing, growing up as a God-fearing child, the things that every human being should have, they give us.
Things that you can't depart from.
You can't depart from. And if you don't have family, I'm sorry. Yes. So family, your biological family, and then you also have friends who become families. But we must respect each other's role. we are all different, but we all bring something to the table. And so once you appreciate this and you respect others for what they bring to the table, I'm sure when you're in times of need, they will be there for you. And you should also be there for them.
Should reciprocate.
Yes.
Great. Thank you for that. Now, I want to find out at this point, I mean, years ago, when all this started for you, along the line you mentioned that you took was shorthand writing tests and then you passed. You were a good cook for your friends and all that. I mean, in all these that you were going through, what was the career dream for you? Where did you want to see yourself career-wise?
I just wanted to be a banker. A banker or an administrator at the time, and I knew that I would definitely climb the ladder. But for me, I wanted to be in the financial sector. And thank God I started my national service with City Savings and Loans, which became Intercontinental, and then Access Bank. And so I had a feel the experience there wasn't too pleasant. But after my national service, I had the opportunity to join Business in Africa magazine, which I did. And I was hired as an administrator at the time, although I had just come from school. So I was challenged, and for me, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because it wasn't then again all rosy. It was quite challenging, but the fact that I had to always be on my feet and I had to think, and even when I don't know, I have to ask. I don't hesitate to ask people who know within the organization and outside the organization to make sure that I'm achieving results. So for me, what drives me is achieving results. So whatever I will do, whether it's learning or whether it's asking, to make sure that I'm achieving or I'm succeeding, I'm humble enough to do that. Yes. Great.
Since you touched on family, I mean, I want us to dive a little bit into that. You talked about the fact that you're able to juggle between family and business your family and business thanks to the external family. I mean, they've been supportive. Is managing all that a big challenge for you, or it's soft work like you handle your business at work?
No, it's nothing comes easy. I mean, it was challenging at the time, and I think it's still challenging because I have currently my two boys, yes, are in the university, but I still have a teenager I have to take care of. And being there for her, for the two boys, I wasn't too busy at the time. So I had time for them with their studies. That is, let me tell you why I even, did my doctoral study. Because the first one was preparing to go to SHS, right?
Okay, yes, in high school.
Yes, SOS at the time. And I noticed that I come home very tired, and 8 o'clock I'm in bed. And I wake up in the morning and they are gone. Okay. I try also sometimes to go, drop them off to have that opportunity to speak to them. But I thought it wasn't too good. I mean, because their homework, sometimes their father helps them. Yes. He's also a very supportive husband. So he's always been there for me as well. So I decided to do my doctoral study going for that because it's been something that had been on my mind at the time. But I also thought that it would be an opportunity to sit around the table with them while I'm studying. They're also doing their own thing. So that's what motivated me to pursue that. Yes. And so
okay, so let's move on to that. That is perfect. I really understand that. Growing up, I'm sure there was that picture-perfect family you hoped for. I mean, seeing all your family members going to visit your grand-uncles, the family coming together, you and your other members in the trio singing for family. Is what you have now what you hoped for as a young person? Do you have that picture-perfect family now?
I think I've even, it's beyond expectations because I have tried as much as possible to get involved in my children's upbringing, life, because my parents were there for me. My daddy is still alive and he stays with us now.
Oh, great.
Because he's close to 88 years.
Wow.
So, and up to today, he's been there for me. during challenging times when he has to support in any way. And I wouldn't go into that, but you'll be surprised. He would support me. He's been there for me. So if that has helped me, that has shaped me, that has formed me, I think the best thing I can give to my children is myself. And my time. So I try as much as possible to be part of their lives. Maybe what the opportunities they have now, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But once I'm able to do it, I can support them with that, I will do it to ensure that they become future leaders, to help their society, to also impact to society. And I think that's a responsibility of every parent to ensure that the people we bring on this planet Earth, we're able to support them, to empower them to be future leaders. Leaders in every sphere, not necessarily being the president. Yes, if your son is a president, fine.
Why not?
But whatever level your child is, they should be able to impact, and that is the most important. We can't all be leaders. We have followers, we have leaders, but at the same time, you can even be a leader as a follower. So I think that this is a role we have to play as parents.
Honestly, I was going to ask you 2 questions after this, but I have all my answers already. I mean, advice to young ones who are starting their families now, but the golden rule is empower your family, be there for them. I mean, empower them, aid them to become the leaders that they're meant to be in any sector or field they find themselves. And of course, the things that you pick from family into your business, being the leader and follower same time, those things really work for all of us. Now, what are some of the key principles you strive to impart in your children, and what are the reasons behind these particular principles?
You have to be hardworking. You have to be humble and respectful, but assertive at the same time, and confident. I think respect is very important because especially when I go on social media and platforms and I see what I see, I read from the youth, not even the youth, even the elderly ones. When I read some of the comments, some of the language that we use on social media, sometimes, I don't even know the words to use, but we have to respect each other. We have to respect each other because look at what happened recently. I won't see my child do that. I cannot even do that because, like I told you, I have my daddy listening. I have my 94-year-old uncle. I have all these people looking at me, listening to me, and I have the nerve to use unhealthy or unwholesome language. I can't do that. So what would influence or push a young person, a student, to insult our president or a leader?
The man of the land.
A man of the land. What would push you to do this? And sometimes they look at us, some of us, and they do what they do. But I'm pleading on behalf of all parents that our youth, you are our future. You are the future leaders. I'm not putting everyone together because there are some who are very respectful. But let's respect ourselves as Ghanaians. We have done so much. Because we are here in Ghana, we don't know what we have. But as a country, when I sat back during this pandemic and I listened to radio, what's happening globally.
Around the world. I was so proud. I felt so proud as a Ghanaian. We take things for granted, but we have so much. There are so many opportunities around us that at this moment, everyone, each one of us should be happy and proud to be Ghanaian. Let's look at the opportunities around us. My only issue with opportunities is that sometimes we're not able to show where the opportunities are. That's true.
But as Ghanaians, if you are a young person and you really want to work, you would find the opportunities. You would ask and look for where the opportunities are. There are young people who are doing great things, and we must be ready for the opportunities. If you're not ready, the opportunity will come and you won't see it.
It'll bypass you.
Yes, even for us, some of us, for myself, it's not all the opportunities I see. It has taken me a while to identify some of these opportunities. It also depends where your passion is or where your interest is. But if you really want to work in this country and achieve a lot, you can.
Volumes of wisdom from Dr. Edith Dankwa. I mean, a lot has been said. Wow. You spoke about passion, and I want us to stay on that track. Passion led you to starting a brand, a company that has grown till date. Tell us how your whole career began. I mean, we've spoken about the different institutions that you went to study. I mean, a few of them. We'll touch on a few of them along the line as well. But in terms of your career, where and how did it all begin for you? After you sat down and planned, at what point did it kickstart for you?
Okay, so I didn't start the business in Financial Times.
Okay.
It was established by the late Mr. Hansen, of blessed memory. So in 2000, we bought Business and Financial Times from him.
Okay.
At that time, it was very small. Not too many people knew. He was a chartered accountant, so I'm sure he did it for his friends and,
his circle.
So we started with Business and Financial Times when we had no business newspaper at the time. The only paper we had was High Street Journal at the time, and the owner of High Street Journal passed. So unfortunately, the paper also went down. So for us, it was good timing because we're only the only business paper at the time. It was very difficult because people knew only the national newspaper.
Yeah.
But we had to then make a case that this is not a social paper. It's a business paper to serve the business community. So that's how it started. So I was an administrator at the time. I became the special projects manager at the time. And I remember when the owner at the time moved me from administration to special projects. I was business development rather.
Okay.
I was very upset with him.
You were devastated.
Devastated. I said, look, administration, I'm doing everything. I'm all over the place. Why do you move me from this department to another department? I was so upset. And he said, I have seen something in you, and I know you can, because we were not making money. It was a new paper.
Yeah.
And who will put their adverts in papers that you don't go far at the time? So it was difficult convincing people to come on board to even advertise in the paper. So I said, okay, I have no option. So let me do it. And then we started looking for adverts. So I'll go out there and sell, And it was a daily paper at the time, only Mondays. So we survived. No, we had issues. For 3 months, you even receive your salaries because monies won't be coming in. Why are you going to take the money?
Without salary?
Yes. But we had to do it. And for me, it got exciting because the responsibility of bringing in revenue, the fact that I had to make it happen, drove me at the time. Said, look, I have to make this thing happen. I don't want to leave for someone to say that, look, we put this lady here and she didn't achieve anything.
And she fled.
So let me try and make it work. And it worked. I knocked on people's doors and it worked. And that's why we are where we are today. And gradually moved it from one newspaper. So at the beginning, I wasn't part of it. I wasn't part of the ownership, whatever structure. But gradually, I became part of it because of the commitment that I gave, And then gradually, we rose. We became a bi-weekly, and then 3 times and 4 times, to where we are today. So it's been a long journey, but it's been worth the while.
You mentioned one thing that caught my attention. You knocking on doors to try and raise revenue for the company. Do you remember some particular instances, ones that were not so pleasant? How many times did people turn you down? I mean, you were pushing a brand that was
several times. It became a norm that, why should we advertise in your newspaper? We don't know B&FT, Business and Financial Times then. There's graphic, and they'll tell you.
Yeah.
So we'll rather put our adverts in graphic. So look, graphic has a different target. We are targets. We have a niche. We're targeting the business community. So you have to place it here because the people you want you want to see your adverts or your products are the ones who so you have to make a case.
Yes.
And then gradually, with determination, and then also the content, the relevance, and the credibility of the information that we put in there, people loved to associate with it as some point. And that is what has brought us this far.
Wow.
The quality that we put in, the hard work that we put into it, the team that we have, the solid team that we have brought us this far.
Shout out going out to Aquinas Yipala on Facebook. Says she's really a role model. Thanks for the motivation. Edinam Apau says, I see you, madam. Guys, we are live on our Facebook, Y107.9 FM. If you're on there, drop a comment or share so that our friends and family members can also watch as well. It's 38 past 10, Y107.9 FM. We have Dr. Mrs. Edith Dankwa, CEO of Business and Financial Times, in the building with us. If you have a question for her, kindly send it through with the hashtag White Leaderboard Series, and I'll definitely serve it to her. Madam, at what point or period in time in your entrepreneurial drive, or at what point did it kick in, the entrepreneurial drive? I mean, you were working for a company, you were doing your thing, but at what point did you decide, okay, I want to channel all my business efforts. I want to organize the various factors of production and then put out something different. At what point?
You know, the newspaper industry is a very tough one. So if you want to achieve or you want to succeed, you always have to be thinking and innovating. So when we started growing, I mean, in that growth process, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 5 times daily, we realized that we needed resources to be able to do that.
Yes.
We needed more. And because we had started, you can't afford to go back. So you had to find a way of doing it.
You're in there.
You are in there. So we had to diversify. We are a business, the leading, and it's so exciting when I talk about this, we are the leading business newspaper in Ghana. The leading, in Africa, we're now global because of the internet.
Yes.
But in Ghana, we are the leading financial or business newspaper in Ghana. And so we had to ensure that our product is served across all platforms. So whatever for us we had to do to serve the business information in different ways, as conferences, events, magazines, and we're actually in South Africa with the Business Times magazine.
Wow.
Yes. For 5 years, and then we said, look, let's rather do the online because it's expensive, capital intensive. We're also not based there, so it was very hectic working from South Africa. So let's try and serve the business community with the best incredible information that we can give. Through events, through conferences, and we run the Ghana Economic Forum in Ghana. The platform that brings private sector, governments together to talk about issues that confront businesses and find solutions to these issues. And the next one comes up in October. We'll share the dates with you later.
Wow.
In October. To share now we are resetting our economy after COVID, after this pandemic. Where are we? How can we reset our economy to achieve more? And it's so exciting and interesting to know that we started this industrialization. I don't want to do I'm not a politician, but I'm just saying it as a business person. I think it's just timely with this industrialization, the one we call it 1D, 1F, right? Yes. That we are not importing at this time. We are, but it's not as much as we used to. So we should consume what we produce. So if we are not ready for it, what happens to us? What happens? And farming and all that. So this is the right time. It's a huge opportunity for us as a country, and especially with the Free Africa Continental Trade Area era that we are entering into. We can export food. Why can't we go into farming? We shouldn't be complaining. You see, what we need is an enabling environment, and that is being created one way or the other. And we should push, especially using our platform, a platform like Business and Financial Times. We should push and ensure that the enabling environment is created for the youth to run with the opportunities that are available.
This makes so much sense. I mean, we're in times where things are not moving in and out, and we sit on a lot of resources. So as a people, first thing we must do, I think, which you touched on, is consume what we have And then through the consumption, we'll find other opportunities for people to find ways through which they can, survive or put their entrepreneurial skills into use. I think it's about time. I mean, any person that understands the development of a nation, social, human-wise, would understand that this is about time. I mean, these are things that should be done, politics or no politics. I mean, we should move on with that. I mean, with all these things that you've talked about with regards to B&FT, what would you consider as a key element in the immense success story behind B&FT, and how do you stay ahead of competition?
Okay, so I think the contributing factor is the people.
Okay.
The solid team we work with, the people, those who have worked and left are no more with us, and those who are even here with us. I have 2 of my team members here supporting me.
They showed up very
Bernard is here, Baba is here. I have an excellent editor, Selassie.
Okay.
I have a lister who has been with us for the past 20 years.
Wow.
Our graphic designer. We have Jerry, who has also close to 20. So we have a solid team.
A dedicated team.
A dedicated team. I mean, you won't have it all perfect. It won't all be perfect. We've had issues with some stuff, in the past. We still have issues. I mean, once you work with people, you still have issues. But as a company, we should also ensure that we are able to create that environment for people to air their grievances in a manner that they feel, that sense of belongingness, and involvement, so that it doesn't escalate to some levels. But the team, and then also the information that we give, what we package, we give credible information, we give timely information, we give relevant information to the business community. And if you have any client or customer, you give them what they want, and they would always value for money, and they would always come to you. And we are coming out with some good products. I won't talk about them now.
I believe.
Wow. Watch that space.
I am so happy when people talk about teamwork. I mean, when leaders appreciate the fact that it takes more than just themselves to get to the destination when it comes to their business, I get very happy. Now, since we're talking about team and team members, the entire crew, what do you look out for? What did you look out for before you picked all these guys in terms of the professionals you work with in delivering the service that B&FT is set out to deliver? What particular things do you look out for? Academic excellence? Good character? What do you look out for?
All of the above.
All of them.
For me, character is very important.
Okay.
Your attitude. You should have the right mindset. You should be ready to work. And so we look out for people with young people. I mean, when you come to our offices, the team is very young.
Yes.
We have young ladies and gentlemen who are putting in their all. I'm also young,
Yeah, very young. Wow.
So we look out for people who are dedicated and who are prepared to learn. And work. Because most of our team, our staff members, just came in from school. And we have to train them to write. Some have gone through professional training, journalism. Some also haven't. So we try to balance it. Yes. So we have good people we're working with, and we're looking forward to having more good people to work with.
Speaking still on, B&FT, the company has organized a number of events over the years for the business community and media fraternity. Now, how well have they been received, and what sort of impact is this set out to make?
Yeah. The next one will be our 9th year.
Okay.
I think it's been very impactful. There's still more we can do in terms of the kind of discussions we have, engagements. We've been fortunate to have government support over the years. Yes, we have late Ms. Atta grazing, coming in. We have ministers. And last year, we're fortunate to have our president. And Mr. President, thank you very much if you are listening.
He's listening, I promise you.
I'm sure he's listening. Yeah, we were fortunate to have him grace the occasion, open the forum. And that tells us that government takes it seriously. I mean, they take us serious, what we do in terms of the platform we create to ensure that the private sector, the discussions that we have help the business community. They're able to vent their frustrations, and then government. I mean, we've had a number of, I can't say everything, enumerate everything here, but outcomes from the sessions that we had. And through discussions, government has been able to formulate some of its policies through that. And I think that it's been good so far. I know we can do more. This year's event promises to be very interesting, especially as we're doing both the sit-down event and then also the virtual event as well. Great. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about IDP. What is a gap? What gaps are we hoping to? Okay, all right. So we'll just, it's 48 past 10, by the way, guys. 7.9 FM. If you're watching us on Facebook, shouts going out to you. I wish I could mention all of your names, but I can't. At this point, we're going to do the rest in a bit. 02022222073 gets you in via WhatsApp as well. So we want to talk about the Executive Women's Network, EWN. You are one of the founding members of the group. Tell us a little bit about it. What's the story behind this establishment, and how far does it reach across the country?
So we had 6 ladies starting the EWN. Okay. Mady Akutu, who used to be the MD of Unilever at the time, brought us all to the table. Patience Achiano, Lucy Quist, Pearl, have I left one out? Frida. Yes. We all came together, and we decided to set up the EWN, looking at the gaps that were in the system at the time, women professionals. So looking at our experiences that we had gained over the years, we thought it would be good to set up a platform like this to support, empower, women professionals to get to a higher level on boards, heads of institutions, organizations. So we set EWN up to empower women, to inspire women, and to support women.
Now, how specifically is the organization helping to empower women, especially young girls, in this season?
Yeah, we have programs that are targeted at young girls in the secondary schools. Occasionally we visit them. This year has been a great disruption, but some of our programs will be done virtually this time. But we target the youth as well, young, up and coming, and we share our experiences with them to empower them to look up or to aspire for greater heights. Greater heights. Yes.
Now, since you've touched on young girls and women, what do you think are some ways we can build? I mean, as a nation, as a people, how can we build up some equal opportunities in terms of addressing the disparity between the gender gap at workplaces?
I think we have to put in an effort, at workplaces to ensure that we create equal opportunities for men and women. When we're employing, there must be a deliberate attempt to bring in women, because we deliver anyway. Yes. If you look at the formal sector, and we do a lot. Even in the informal sector, women are doing so much. So women are achievers. I won't say only women. I mean both. I'm being a bit sensitive. So it's in our interest. I mean, diversity is very important. Diversity and inclusion. If you bring different ideas and perspectives to the table, so it's only good and wise to bring women to the table as well. To bring women to the table as well. And I mean, I think it cuts across. It goes into the fields of leadership, policy making, medicine, technology, education, industry, business, everywhere.
we bring both genders on board, equal rights for all of them. I mean, equal access to information, equal access to leadership, to promotional levels. All of these come together to, improve our lives as a people. I want us to talk about your life. I mean, before we get to the next set of questions, on a regular day for Mrs. Edith or Dr. Edith, what are some of the things you do? I mean, what time do you wake up in the morning? You go to the gym? You walk a mile? You do your dance at home, which I suspect you do. Maybe you play some music and do some dancing. And I have my witness here,
yes,
so let's
so I must be careful.
Be very careful.
Yes, so I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is my prayers and my quiet time. And then I go for a walk. You know, I was involved in sports at school. Okay. So that also helped me. These days I have been a bit slow because of the COVID. What sports were you playing? Hey, volley, everything. Everything. Shot put, track events, and volley, hockey, javelin. Everything. Yes, long jump, you know, so everything. So I wake up in the morning, I go for it. I used to go to the gym. Okay. To work out, but because of the COVID stuff, so now I go for a walk or jogging. Okay. When I feel lazy, I just walk briskly, but otherwise I jog. Okay. Especially on Saturdays, and because of COVID, I've gained a bit because I'm not exercising enough. I'm being truthful because Nana is here. Nana will tell it all if there's any lie in there. I mean, I believe her for that. Wow. Yeah. So, and then I go to work if I have to go to, because now we hardly go to the office. Sometimes most of the time I work from home. Okay. And then I do my meetings on Zoom, or if I have to do one-on-one meetings, I go out there to do and look for other opportunities as well. And then I get back home in the evening. Hey, have I mentioned my husband? I don't want to fall in trouble. He's going to text you right now. I know. So we have dinner together in the evenings. Okay. And so that brings us together. In the mornings, we're all rushing out. But in the evening, we make time to have dinner together. And we also spend time on weekends together. So that's what I do during the day. And have I left something out? No, the team says no. What do you do for fun? Let's say you're having a very busy day. If you want to take time off your busy schedule, if you want to lay your hair down, what do you do? I play games. Games on your phone? On my phone. Oh, wow. Yeah, to distress, I play games on my phone. And what do I do? Maybe listen to, read. Read. And then also. You read your own journals, or you read books, novels? I read a lot, and I also go on social media to check what is happening there. Yes. Which of the platforms is your favorite? I go to Twitter. Oh, you like to tweet a lot? LinkedIn. I visit all the platforms. Wow. I go to Facebook. Okay. Check what's happening there. Do you follow any of your kids on social media? They are not even too active on social media, unfortunately. Okay. Two of them are there. The boys are there, but they're not too. I don't know where is it, Instagram or where? Yeah. Maybe there's somewhere that I'm not. Yes. You're not on. I'm not. No, I'm not. Oh, okay. All right. Not. Do you monitor your workers on social media? They are supposed to use social media to promote B&FT. Right? Okay, all right. My bosses do that. His run is just right behind me now. If I mention his name, I'm dead. You will tweet something, you come at you and say, you know you're supposed to be working at this time or doing something else at this point, right? I mean, it helps all of us. New age, new technologies, coming up all the time. But I'm very happy to know you're inclined to these things. Yes, social media, Twitter in particular. I think I'm going to follow you right after this. I'm very active on Twitter as well. Maybe I promote B&FT, promote wife, and just cross-promote it on that. I don't do too well, though. You don't do too tweeting well. And all that, but I'll few tips. Yes, please do. There are a few hacks to it people don't really know. Okay. The use of hashtags, the use of particular words in order to fall in there. Let's see, there's a hashtag trending and you want to find your product in there. You just jump on the wagon, you put it in there. You can just tweet and put the hashtag in there, and you're going to find yourself in there. It works. These are hacks I'll tell you off air. Back to it. What has been your most challenging moments as an entrepreneur? The challenging moments has been trying to satisfy stakeholders and then also generate products that would excite our clients or clientele. So, and as I mentioned earlier, newspaper is a very difficult area to be. And so trying to keep the business going, especially during these periods, the pandemic, when people don't want even to touch newspaper. But fortunately for us, it also comes with an opportunity because we started the e-paper about close to 8 years ago. But we're not really pushing it and promoting it because our readers are not too interested in that. So quick. So we were actually the first business paper or media that started the e-paper. Electronic. Not the online, not whatever, the website, but the e-paper. We started it, yes.
Oh, so you guys were ahead of the time.
We were ahead. But maybe we should have put in a little bit of effort to push it. But we're still there. We have a huge database, and we send it out to our readers every morning. So we serve them coffee every morning.
Wow.
So so the challenge for me is how to be creative around these, the whole process, to make sure that you understand your reader and you're giving them what they want.
Definitely.
And how do you also provide the same business information in a way that meets the expectations of every individual across. So my 13-year-old or 12-year-old, should they understand business now? How do we serve it to them? Those in the universities, those who are reading business, those who are doing economics. How do we serve the product to them in a way that is acceptable to them? And we're coming up with a product soon. Like I said, I will not talk much, but we're ensuring that we're meeting.
By the time the show ends, I will know this product that is coming out. Like, I'm super excited about it already.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, what do you intend, or what legacy do you wish to leave behind when people think about Dr. Edith Dankwa in the future?
Okay, so I want to be maybe remembered as the one who helped to push the leading business information powerhouse.
Powerhouse. That's a powerful word. I like that.
And to create media platforms that was able to or is able to disseminate business information to our business community. I want to be remembered in a way that, that small businesses, SMEs, that we supported their business or their businesses, various businesses, because providing information is to help you to take decisive or relevant decisions, to be remembered as contributing to that aspect of, or to growing businesses. Helping to grow businesses in Ghana. So
that's a good legacy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have to just say this at this point. Growing up, a lot of us, had interest in business and finance, but the deterrent factor was the fact that it wasn't made too appealing to us. So I remember, we'll spend time watching the news, but when it gets to the business part, you tune off because you didn't really understand the lingo. The wording were different. It wasn't too enticing. But then along the line, you drive in traffic and then you see a beautiful B&FT magazine. Before you even open to read, the graphics alone, the kind of captions that I put in there are so enticing that even if you don't have interest in business, you might be forced to grab it and then know what's happening around you. You mentioned that getting information with regards to business and finance helps us as human beings to make decisions towards our future and our money. Money is everything, by the way. We touch money, we touch our finances everywhere, and so B&FT has done a great job. On behalf of Global Media Alliance, YFM, would just like to big the whole team up for putting in so much work. And I feel we have a lot more to see in the future. With all we have a product coming up that you keep saying.
Watch this space. space.
Yeah, watch the space. A message in here. Well, I have a lot of messages actually coming in. How come I'm not seeing this on my phone? PZ Double Matt says, I'm really learning more from her to be a great leader. Thank you for that. Gadil Kojo Ba says, she is the go-getter who maximizes the minimum. I call her the Adjin Kessie Madam. That's a nickname for you. Alistair Arthur Don says she's been B&FT's pressure hub. Very strong and soaks pressure and turns it into something worthwhile. That is actually sustained. That has actually sustained the business. And a final one in here from Alberta Kwakopom says, congrats to Doctor and her team. I've been a weekly contributor to the B&FT for almost 7 years now. Her team is awesome and exhibits professionalism at its best. Salasi, Ben, and all the others, well done for creating a great global platform. Best wishes to Alberta Kwakopom. And last one just came in. Theodore Lamte says, I worked for her for years. A go-getter and a tough woman, a force to reckon with. Wow. I haven't had this much reviews in the course of an interview. I'm really impressed. I mean, I think at this point we can even... We've heard a lot. Wow. Congrats. I mean, how does it feel to, be alive, sit right here and have people speak so well of your business? I mean, speak so well with evidence, things that we can still look around at. I mean, this is not hype. Yeah. We look around and we see a brand that has grown from where it was to where it is now. And of course, we see where it's heading to. Yeah. You hear all these things. How do you feel? I mean, it's humbling. It's really humbling. And I thank God for how far He's brought me. I thank my husband, David Dankwa, for the support he's giving me over the years, my siblings, my father, my aunties, my uncles, the support they've given me. I mean, that is what has pushed me this far. I normally don't, I find it very difficult having to talk about myself and my achievements, and that's why you rightly said that it's difficult. Somebody told you that it's difficult to get me. I really don't like doing it, but I do it when I have to do it. Bernard had to drag me here. Bernard, we owe you a fat check for that. But it's really humbling, and I think that there's more I can do to serve my community, to serve society. I want to impact. There's more I can do for my country because it's giving me so much, and so I'm still looking for opportunities and ways of doing this well. To make sure that I'm able to impact positively my society. Great. Thank you for those words. Now, Madame Patricia Bonai, one of our previous guests and member of EWN, strongly believes that the Ghanaian girl child is often made to believe that she's a financial burden. What are your thoughts on this, and how can we change this mindset to ensure that the girl child is continuously empowered? Yeah, it's a perception. I mean, I agree with her. If you look at the formal sector, you have women leaders doing so well. If you look at the informal sector, if you go to Makola now, most of them are educated and they are creating wealth. Yes. Look at those who are producing, our farmers. Most of them are women and they are doing so much. They're feeding us. So who would say that women are a burden? Financial burden? They are not. It's a perception. And so we have to try and remove this whole, and a lot is being done in this area. But I think that women have what it takes to do what our men do. And when given the right opportunities. That's the way. And so we have to create that opportunity for women to excel, because it helps the country at the end of the day. If we are creating wealth, women are there, as well as men are there. So I think that we should just give women the opportunity to express themselves, to achieve, to help, to contribute towards national development. That's what I can say. Great. Like many of us, I'm sure you must have entered 2020 with a lot of optimism. I mean, you had plans. Then came COVID-19. How has it affected your plans for the year, and how are you rethinking or re-engineering your thoughts and plans for the rest of the year? I think that indirectly we were ready for COVID-19. Indirectly. Because we had the e-paper, our newspaper. We still serve our newspaper. We still sell the hard copies. Even when there was lockdown, we're still serving. We're still producing. We have the e-paper. We have our
conferences, virtual, organizing our events virtually. The most respected CEOs roundtable, we still have it. We've had 2 already. That was done virtually, and the numbers that we had was even more than sitting in a room, discussing the issues. So I think that not much has changed for us. We're benefiting from it in a way because the cost of production, organizing a virtual event is lower than organizing a sit-down event. And same with the newspaper. The reach is much more than just doing what do you call it? A sit-down event. Right?
Yes.
We have a lot. It's helped us, the e-paper, because we have a huge database of about 80,000, and we blast it every morning. And we have paid subscribers.
Okay, I was going to ask about that.
Yes, we have paid subscribers about 10,000, and it's still increasing. That is the e-copy, apart from the hard copy itself. So I think it's good for us. I'm not saying the pandemic is good.
I know. Like for business, I mean, you mentioned that because the company has been ready.
Yes.
It's not like you knew this was going to happen, but then you knew we had to grow into something else, something that will be far more accessible than what you had. And then, unfortunately, this came up, and because the brand was ready, I mean, you guys are sailing through it easily.
And we had gone through difficult periods. I mean, the past 2 years has been very extremely difficult for us, I mean, as an organization. But I am humbled to know that we have a solid brand. The foundation of the brand, I mean, itself, it is solid. Because any company at all would have gone down with what we went through. And then also, I mean, January we're so excited because we're out of that problem that we had, or the issues that and then bam, COVID. So it would have finished us all together. It would have nailed us, But for the solid team we have and the people that were committed to ensure that the business works and thrives. So I thank on this platform, I would like to thank all the staff of Business and Financial Times, the past and the present, especially the present, who have committed their time and their efforts in ensuring that we produce B&FT every morning. Every morning. We thank God.
Impressive. And I mean, I'm at this point, I'm just jealous of your workers. I mean, my team.
They have issues with me,
No, my team. I will also praise my CEOs and my management at this point. But I mean, I like the way you're speaking about them. Team. You guys are always doing a good job with that. Quick reminder, though, we are currently number 2 on Twitter's trend list in Ghana.
Wow.
Means people are really enjoying the conversation. The hashtag Wiley the Boss series is on. The handle is Y1079 FM. Of course, I know the B&FT handle is also contributing to this as well. But kudos to all of the guys contributing. The ones sending in their questions, I'll do well to read a few of them for you. I mean, I think maybe at this point, let's just pick 2. Alfred Ogbame Tete says, Madam, is the newspaper business going extinct?
It will never. But we have to also ensure that we're pushing it on digital platforms. But I had someone, it was yesterday or so. The person told me, said, look, yesterday at Toyota.
Okay.
Look, I just want to feel the newspaper.
Because people just want to smell
the traditional thing.
Okay.
And this person is a young person, young man. So I want to feel. So the whole newspaper issue going down started long ago. I mean, we are lucky. We're lucky because we're in Africa, so it didn't really catch up with us. But in the developed countries, I mean, the sale of newspapers. Yes. But for some reason, it never went extinct. It's still there. So the newspaper will still be there, but we have to also serve it on the digital platforms to ensure that because the reach is even higher than the traditional newspaper itself. So it's in our interest to get onto that platform, but we're also serving it the traditional way. So if you want the traditional, the newspaper itself, you can have it. If you want it on social media, digitized, you can also have
get it as well.
Yes.
All right. Alfred, I hope your question is well answered. Next one in here from Esther Akushika says, Madam, would you ever consider becoming Ghana's first female president? Hey, politics.
Hey, you're dragging me into politics. So.
I think people are hearing the voice of the president, our future president, on this. I mean, I would vote for you, though, if you stand. If you ever.
Okay. So I'll think about, what's the name again?
Esther Akushika.
Esther. Hey, Akushika. You know I'm Akushika.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, Esther.
Your namesake.
My namesake. Esther, I'll think about it.
Think about it, right? Okay, so Doctor might consider, if it happens, we're here. I mean, we'll play the voice back, and then you guys will know that it was first announced right here with us. Now, for the sake of young people out there aspiring to be entrepreneurs, what is your advice to them based on your enormous experience gathered over the years?
Okay. I think you should follow your passion.
Okay.
And you need to be self-motivated because the challenges will come. But if you're self-motivated and you're passionate about what you do, it will always drive you to achieve. Take a day at a time. Competition is out there, but make sure that your products are good enough. You're meeting a need. You know, you're satisfying a need. So don't just go out for a product because everybody is doing it. But identify a problem and solve that problem. And in the process of solving that problem, you will be rewarded.
I read somewhere last week that, I mean, it was an advice for startup companies. And what I picked from it was, as a startup brand, you shouldn't look out for, or you shouldn't set out to find returns or earn a living. You must strive to find a solution to a problem, and in solving that problem, the returns will be great. And I think that is what you just touched on. So to all my listeners, my young listeners, if you want to start a business, to the young ones out there trying to venture into anything, please strive to be the solution. And when you're able to solve the problem, it comes with a lot of rewards. I mean, the returns are massive. Let's get back to the Facebook. A lot of messages are coming in today. I'm actually impressed. Kwabena Asante on Facebook says, it's an honor working with such a driven and inspirational leader. Edina Mapau is back again to say she's a leader who always knows what she wants. She's indeed a strong man. Keep up the good work, boss madam. Yao Opuni says, good morning, Revesk. In regards to Doctor, yes, this Wednesday initiative from YFM is awesome. It's here to encourage the youth, and we grab it. Thank you. Next time, bring Dr. Despite. Yes, we'll try and grab Dr. Despite into the building. Yeah, we'll try and work on that for you guys as well.
Thank you.
But I'm happy to announce once again that we just, in the span of a few minutes, we've moved to #1 on Twitter. Madam, your people are great. I really love this, honestly. #1 on Twitter trends in Ghana. Shouts going out to Asantewa, Hansen Saki, Ellie Daniel Wilson, and all the guys tweeting about the Wiley the Board series. It's 14 past 11. Ghana's youth and youth from all over the world have tuned in today. I mean, we spoke to aspiring entrepreneurs, to the very many young people out there who just want to be successful, just as you desired to be many years ago. What advice do you have for them, including myself?
My advice to the youth in Ghana is that this is the right time to be a youth of this country. You must be proud of yourselves. Aspire for greater heights. Be determined, because determination will take you far. Social media is a good place to be, but at the same time, it can be very intimidating and deceptive. I think that the youth of today, where I sit, and I don't know whether I stand to be corrected, I think we're a bit pressured sometimes because of what we see. We shouldn't be pressured. There's no competition. Don't create competition amongst yourselves. If your A is doing something, it doesn't mean you should do it. Be focused and have an objective, and make sure that you're working towards your goal.
Yes.
Whatever it takes, whether it's education, whether it's learning on the job, whatever it is, take your time to grow. Because most of the time, you see, we look at those who are up there and who have gained so much, and we want to be like them. It is not bad to be like them, but it took them time to get there.
Yes.
So you must be humble enough to learn and you have to be patient enough to get there. Because if you put yourself under pressure to get there, you may find yourself somewhere that you don't intend to be. And so my advice is that the most important thing is to develop yourself and develop your career, and the rest will follow.
Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. Edith Dankwa, CEO, Business and Financial Times. There's been a lot of talks around Business and Financial Times today. I mean, you might want to grab a copy. Grab one.
Grab one.
Let's make it happen. Madam, thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate your time. It's been a wonderful hour and 17. Yes. So, hi, Mommy, I think I'm done with you now. Oh, see, so Mommy was supposed to give us her favorite songs. But unfortunately, she forgot the list. And she says you're her partner when it comes to music. And so for the sake of Mommy redeeming herself with the music, please come help us. What do you think are Mommy's favorite songs? Songs that she won't mention that she loves, that you know, that we don't know. You don't want to?
I don't know.
You don't know the titles? But you can sing, you won't do it.
No, I don't really know the song she likes.
You don't really know the song she likes?
I know, like, she likes jazz music.
She likes jazz music and all. I think she mentioned that earlier. All right, so we're going to dig into that. But at this point, let's just say hi to, in the beginning, you mentioned that you have a lot of family members listening. Let's mention their names just so they don't say we came here and then we didn't shout them out. And anything else you'd like to add, as we wrap up.
Greetings to Mrs. Dino Sekufo, Mrs. Adipa, Auntie Yale, Akwaji, Mrs. C.B. Moses, my uncle, Sister Kakra, Abna, Okain, Akosia, Sekufo, my brothers, their wives, Lily and Lena, Charlotte, Adote.
This is what happens when you have a big
Mavis,
family.
I have 5 children.
Wow.
3 biological.
Okay.
And then 2 Mavis and Emilia. They're all lovely girls. Mavis is in GIJ.
Okay. God bless the family.
Yes. Thank you very much. I hope I've mentioned, or please forgive me if I don't mention. Yes. Please forgive
Thank you so much, Doctor. God bless you so much. Thank you so much for spending time with the youth of Ghana. We appreciate every moment of this. Wish you the very best. I mean, we're looking forward to the new product coming. And I mean, let me just throw this one in. Whatever product it is, just know that YFM has to be the brand driving it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll have the conversation right after this.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors.
Yeah. And to the youth, please read.
Yes.
And please read Business and Financial Times.
We will.
Because it will give you so much. Our savings culture, the way the economy is being run. We need your voices as well.
Yes,
so if you read, you're informed, then you'll be able to contribute towards our national development. Those who haven't subscribe. To our e-copy and the hard copies as well, because we're bringing you more. And then if you want to, the youth, if you want to write, if you want to contribute, you're free to do that.
Sure.
Contact Ashade.
Oh, wow, man. I'm having so much fun in here. Wiley the Boat Series getting interesting by the day. Done and dusted for today. Thank you to all the guys that watched us on Facebook. Of course, to the digital team, George and Co. To the production team, my man DJ Gans right here. And thank you. A big one going out to Business and Financial Times for giving us Dr. Edith Dankwa for today. It's 11:20. This is Y107.9 FM.
Yeah, Rubber.
The biggest reggae dancehall playlist is coming to YFM. Join me, Rubber Ranks, the dancehall general, every Sunday afternoon for your fix. We broadcast live from London direct to your speakers. I'll be bringing you the biggest dancehall names, the latest rhythms, the exclusive tracks and interviews.